Hey man, say man, it's your boy DAA man, Daylight TV, back at y'all with another one. And on this trip, I think we're gonna call this the first episode of the Mafia Material Mobcast. It's not a mob, it's not a podcast, it's a mobcast. You know what I'm saying? Um, y'all already know we got the Mafia Material series, you know what I mean, where I do the profiles on all the legends from around the country and beyond. Um, but I felt like needed a segment to kind of break down, some of these events, and particularly in this case, some of these allegations or whatever when it comes to like snitch allegations, because these things run rampant on the internet. So that's what we're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? The Mafia Material Mobcast, episode 1, Daylight TV. You know what I'm saying? Smash that like and subscribe button. Ring that notification bell if you're really mobbing with the content. And let's get into it. You know what I mean? So everybody probably heard by now that 50 Cent, or seen by now that 50 Cent took to social media after a video went viral of Big Meech with Rick Ross, doing some promo, I'm guessing, for his annual car show and a concert event, like a welcome home event for Meech or whatever, on February 13th. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be like Lil Baby, all these, you know what I'm saying? The people you would expect. Uh, so the internet instigators, of course, were anticipating a less than favorable response from 50. And in true 50 Cent fashion, he ain't disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So first he went on IG and threatened to cancel the BMF show if the ratings were poor during season 4. Then he jumped on the Blue Da Vinci and Cuffy bandwagon, accusing Big Meech of being a snitch with a post that posed the question, who is Tammy Cowins? You get what I'm saying? Now, I rock with 50 going back to the Who Kids, Shadyville mixtape, the Stretch Armstrong days and all that. But come on, son. You know who that is. But since you asked, I'm going to break it down, you know what I mean, for the people. So Tammy Cowins at one point was just another pretty face in Atlanta, you know what I mean, trying to scratch out a living as a, entrepreneur, trying to sell houses or whatever. And the earliest information I could come up with, just based on later court documents, is by 2001 she was married and had a child. You know what I mean, with the guy who she got the name Cowins from. You get what I mean? So Cowins is not her maiden name. I wasn't able to actually find it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even able to find too much or whatever on her husband either. But so it's by 2003 she's still married, you know what I'm saying? But she started dating Blue Da Vinci, who introduces her to Big Meech. Now, mind you, in 2003, this is the year that the heat really came down on Big Meech and BMF, because the Anthony Wolf Jones incident at Club Chaos, I believe, happened, where Wolf and another dude lost his life, uh, and Meech was shot in the ass. You know what I mean? And then he was put on house arrest or whatever. So that's how that went. Um, that was what was going on with BMF at that time when she gets involved with Blue. So if that wasn't enough or whatever, like she's married, she's messing around with Blue. Then in 2004 or like 2005, she started another relationship with Terry White, who was a leader of a Atlanta-based drug organization that had beef with the Miami boys over drug territory, um, in two housing projects on the west side of Atlanta. Techwood being one of them, and I believe Egan Homes or something like that being the other. Um, those are both, like I said, on the west side of Atlanta, Mechanicsville to be more exact. Uh, to give some you an idea of who the Miami boys are, y'all can look up Isaac Big Ike Hicks. You know what I mean? He was the leader of the Miami boys, the kingpin and shit like that. You know, uh, among the ranks of the Miami boys was a man who would go on to become a Miami legend himself by the name of Convertible Burt. Y'all can look him up too. Um, the war between the two crews, Terry White's crew and the Miami boys, believed to have started around 1986. And that beef would actually make national headlines when a 60-year-old innocent bystander named Emma Lois Johnson caught a stray bullet, which ended her life. And, you know, that shit made national news or something like that. So, and I think that was like in '88, you know what I mean? So for 2 years, like, you know what I mean, Terry, you know, everything. Now, what's interesting about that is that would explain why that whole Techwood thing would get tied into the whole BMF series. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I always pointed that out that it wasn't no Haitian that was in Techwood at that time or whatever. It was a crew called the Miami Boys. But when they were out there, I don't even think Meech was out there yet. I think he was still doing his thing in Detroit. It was still the 50 Boys. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a little inaccuracy in that and a little fun fact I thought I'd throw in there. So, all right, so that's 2004 to 2005 or whatever. She started messing with Terry White. So in 2005, Big Meech is picked up in Dallas, as most of us know who've been following this story, for running a continuing criminal enterprise with his brother Southwest T, by a DEA team that was led by Jack Harvey. Right. Um, Going on to 2006, Cowins filed for divorce from Mr. Cowins. That's all we can call him because I can't find that real name, and I can't find. I couldn't find the divorce court papers. You know what I mean? But anyway, filed for divorce, and um the divorce never went through because nobody showed up for court. I don't know if she didn't show up or he didn't show up or they didn't, like neither one of them did. You get what I mean? But yeah, so pretty much we know now, like the whole time that she was messing with Blue Da Vinci and Terry White, you know, it was overlapping or whatever. Like Blue and Terry were overlapping. You get what I'm saying? Like, um, but she was still married to this dude, like, which is, you know, crazy. Like, but yeah, in 2007, Blue Da Vinci gets indicted. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's one boo off the street that she don't got to worry about. So now she clearly separated from the husband. I'm guessing, like they filed for divorce, it didn't go through, but I'm guessing they were separated by that point. And so now it's just her and Terry White. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, so now Blue is indicted or whatever for conspiracy to distribute 5 kilograms or something like that. And he claimed that's when he stopped messing with Tammy. You get what I'm saying? So this would be when, by his own admission, that he debriefed with the government and received a safety valve. And we all know how that goes or whatever. So he a rat too, as I've been telling y'all. Um, Also in 2007, Tammy Cowins' husband, even though she, you know, trying to divorce him and didn't show up. But yeah, so Cowins' husband, Mr. Cowins, ends up getting killed in like a motorcycle or a car accident before the divorce could be refiled and or finalized. You know what I'm saying? So it appears she ran into some financial trouble because she would end up filing for bankruptcy, according to her testimony at an evidence hearing that we'll dive deeper into later. According to Blue Da Vinci, she also started writing Big Meech and becoming closer with him in 2007. Because by 2008, according to the document, Tammy ends up having power of attorney over Meech's life right to shop around for a movie deal or something. So initially, they were just looking to do a feature film. In 2008 to 2009, Tammy Cowins' other boo, Terry White, starts smashing a woman only identified in the court documents as Miss Linton. So on some woman scorn type shit, Tammy Cowins alerted federal authorities and put a money laundering and drug case on Terry White. One of the charges involved incident where he used drug money to buy a house, and he used her to do it because she was in the real estate game. So, you know, she kind of played the unknowing participant, but after the housing bubble burst, feds started cracking down on people who were committing mortgage fraud and all kind of things like that. Almost like how when the pandemic happened and all the people who took that PPP money but didn't do the right thing with it, and they came and got them later. That's kind of like how it went with the housing bubble, and it's kind of similar to what happened with Ali Joe Adam and Gary Suppant, in that situation. Y'all can check out the video or whatever that I did on that. Based on what we know about her so far, she's enough of a weasel to kind of turn somebody in just to separate herself from the conspiracy if she feels the heat coming. But also in 2009, Tammy Cowins officially became a paid DEA informant after being paid over $50,000 for giving information that led to the indictment and subsequent imprisonment of Terry White. Now, by the time all of this is going on, Big Meech is about 4 years into his 30-year sentence. And if you're in the know, like I am, like that Meech was going through what they call in the system diesel therapy. That's when they just bounce you around from jail to jail and don't really let you get settled. You know what I'm saying? Try to break niggas and shit. But yeah, so the what's interesting about it is the DEA agent that was involved, or one of the DEA agents that was involved in the Terry White case, that Tammy was the star witness in, was Jack Harvey, who would be one of the primary agents in the BMF case that was present when Meech was apprehended in Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Harvey is actually quoted saying in a legal document that Tammy Cowins was the heart of the case against Terry White. So I'm pretty sure that when he discovered Tammy had been connected to Big Meech and BMF or whatever since 2003, even after the Terry White situation was over, he kept tabs on telling ass Tammy. You know what I mean? But damn, I just thought about it. That means that Blue Da Vinci was snitching before Tammy was. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's another story. Now we get the Cuffy, Dion Cuffy Gatlin. Now, according to an interview clip I heard, Cuffy said out of his own mouth that around like 2008, 2009, he put up $250,000 to have a BMF movie script professionally written to shop around for a deal. And we already know that by this time, Tammy Cowins had turned government informant. and he was kind of working closely, with her. So now we get to 2000 and now we get to 2010, and Meech has been locked up for 5 years at this point, so he a nickel in, on 30. So Cuffy and Tammy are working closely together because, according to Cuffy, he put the money up, they had the script written, and Tammy had the power of attorney over the life rights. So, they got to kind of work together and figure this out. We know this because Cuffy told Pop a Lot from Mob Tide that by 2010, he had sent Tammy Cowins out to California to link up with none other than Louis Burrell, who is the brother of Oakland-based rapper MC Hammer. You know what I'm saying? And also, a little fun fact about Louis Burrell, he's the one that's alleged to have put the hit on the rap group Third Base, according to MC Search in the Vlad TV interview. You know what I mean? Just a little fun fact for y'all to play with. Now, pay attention, because this is like where it gets interesting. It's like that. I just wanted to like connect it down. Cuffy said that, he and Louis Burrell had, history and all that. And through Burrell's investor connection, they were going to put up $50 million to do a deal with Lionsgate. You know what I mean? Now, Cuffy claimed that once Louis Burrell was no longer involved, Lionsgate Film backed out. And that's actually capped because since 2016, Lionsgate purchased, had owned Stars. You know what I mean? Like they purchased it for $4.4 billion in cash and stocks, according to Wikipedia. And of course, we all know that the BMF series is on Stars. So even though it was like time later and everything like that, that was the thing. So now, Cuffy's that information and Cuffy's statement kind of conflicts with what his daughter told Whack 100 on Clubhouse, and mentioned on another video where she said that Meech reached out to Cuffy in 2011 to help him put a situation together for the BMF film project or something like that. But what did happen in 2011, since that didn't happen, was according to then DEA group supervisor Keith Cromer, who had been Tammy Cowins' handler since she turned state evidence against Terry White in 2008 or 9, would claim that his relationship with Tammy became like a little more personal in 2011 after his son had died from leukemia, but claimed that he was never sexually involved with her. But apparently, when they got a hold of Tammy's phone during another case or evidentiary hearing, they discovered pictures of her and Keith Cromer in bed together. You know what I mean? Some of them no clothes. And it's around this time that the connection between Tammy, Cuffy, and a cartel affiliate from California named Fidel Suarez, who Meech met while he was in federal custody awaiting trial in Michigan when he first got apprehended in Dallas and extradited. So, according to the government, Big Meech asked Tammy to look after his interests in a drug deal in 2011 involving Fidel Suarez, who was no longer in federal custody at the time. And we know around this time, Tammy Cowins introduced Cuffy to Fidel Suarez because another DEA agent from St. Louis would testify that this was what he was told when he interviewed Tammy in 2012. You know what I mean? So she would admit that she did it on behalf of Big Meech to facilitate a drug deal. You know what I mean? Keith Cromer would claim that he became aware of the conspiracy when he overheard a conversation between Tammy Cowins and Fidel Suarez. Now, this kind of cleans up the narrative that Tammy put, or Meech put Tammy with Cuffy to set him up. You know what I mean? He was actually trying to make a play from prison. And I guess he, having met Suarez in the county jail, because if he's fighting a big drug case like that or whatever, no plug that he's been dealing with is gonna touch him. So he would have to just meet somebody who he's a fresh face to. At least they have some like plausible like deniability, to any past crime. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. So Cuffy, um Cuffy being his friend, what I mean, for nearly 30 years at the time, whatever, he definitely trusts him. And Tammy being, the power of attorney over the life rights and having something to gain, from the BMF film project going well, she had a vested interest in keeping Meech safe too. So I guess he felt safe, like just because everybody had, you know, their own beneficial situation that benefited them. Now, according to another court document, Cuffy and Fidel Suarez began communicating directly in March of 2012 to August of 2012 of that same, you know. So I should also point out that around 2012, 2013 is when Blue Da Vinci came home. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tammy's original BMF boo back on the streets. You know what I mean? And at the time, he's still repping for Meech, but he and another BMF affiliated rapper, Young Jeezy, would end up having a rap beef that led to snitch allegations being thrown around on both sides. And Jeezy was already into it with another rapper over BMF related drama when Rick Ross released the 2010 street anthem Blowing Money Fast, or BMF, a homage to Big Meech and the Black Mafia families reigning in the streets. Now, around 2013, 2014, there's an evidence hearing. I'm guessing a grand jury or something, because the feds were actually going to indict Meech, Cuffy, Fidel Suarez, and quite possibly Tammy Cowins as well. You know what I mean? This is when the inappropriate relationship between Keith Cromer and Tammy Cowins will come to light. This also is corroborated by the testimony of another federal agent that once Tammy finds out, like her confidential informant is once she finds out her confidential informant status is not going to be so confidential anymore, she actually went to go and see Big Meech in prison to kind of get ahead of the situation, you know what I mean? Because she's now implicated him as well as herself. You get what I mean? Now, Cuffy and Fidel Suarez, like they're implicated in this shit too. You know what I mean? Because the whole deal is she's looking out for Meech's interests. But really the heavy lifting or whatever is gonna be done, you know what I mean, by Suarez and Cuffy, because, these are the dope boys or whatever in the matter. Now, this makes me believe that nobody, including Big Meech, knew that she was cooperating, let alone smashing a DEA agent. Because if Meech is behind the whole setup, why does she feel like she has to explain herself before shit hit the fan? So Meech was really just the mastermind and co-conspirator in this whole thing. You know what I mean? Because the DEA was actually looking to indict all three of them. Now, Meek doesn't know that Tammy is telling ass Tammy until 2014 to 2015 at this point. Because that's when the evidence hearing happens and Cuffy is indicted, you know what I mean, like shortly after. But the whole case is compromised because of the sexual relationship between Tammy Cowins and Keith Cromer. And so neither like Meech, Suarez, Cuffy, or Tammy end up being charged in that case. You know what I mean? It's pretty similar to what happened with Griselda Blanco when her chief enforcer Ribby was testifying against her, but ended up having a phone sex scandal with a secretary that worked in like the state's attorney's office, and it just destroyed the prosecution case. You know what I mean? But Cuppy's connection to telling ass Tammy will come back to haunt him in another way. You know what I mean? Because, like I mentioned, when breaking down the events of 2012, Keith Cromer would say that he overheard the conversation when Tammy Cowins facilitated the three-way call between Fidel Suarez and Cuffy. And apparently, the pussy was good, but it wasn't good enough to make him forget his oath because he took that information back to the DEA. And when members of the St. Louis field office heard the name Cuffy, which they had been familiar with since the 90s, they used Cromer's intel to obtain a warrant to put a wiretap on Cuffy's phone. So Tammy had not even planned on really getting Cuffy jammed up because she was in on the deal as well and had something to gain. You know what I mean? Because remember, well, y'all might not know, but in her testimony, she said that after her husband died, she received some money or some benefits and everything like that, but she still ended up having money problems and filing for bankruptcy and everything like that. You know what I mean? So, and then plus, like I said, her husband, he would die like, right before the housing. So he dies, then the housing crisis happened. So yeah, she was probably strapped for cash, you know what I mean, just trying to get by. But she damn sure wasn't selling no houses or whatever once that happened. And that was her thing, real estate, you know what I mean? So by the time they indicted Cuffy on a separate drug-related charge in 2014, they had been on his phone for like the better part of 2 years. And, they built a separate case off of that. So once the case with Fidel Suarez, Meech, and Tammy fell apart, what would have been a superseding indictment ended up being the antedated or primary indictment. I should also note that in 2014, the Power series produced by 50 Cent would debut on Stars. You know what I mean? 2014 to 2015, snitching allegations started to float around about Blue Da Vinci. You know what I mean? Working with the feds and all that and debriefing, which he admitted anyway, so it ain't too much to talk about that. But it really became public when Jay Diggs, the Bay Area street legend and rapper from Vallejo, California, would release a song called The Rompography Part 2, where he spoke publicly about me telling him that Blue was a rat via phone. Now, at this point, there's no more real conversation about a BMF movie, a series, you know what I mean? It's but like I mentioned earlier, Lionsgate purchased Stars for $4.4 billion. And it was around this time that 50 Cent started alluding to wanting to bring the BMF story to television, and started to build excitement, and demand for the show. So with the success of Power and all that, I'm pretty sure Lionsgate already being familiar with the story from when they were supposedly interested in doing the movie when Cuffy and MC Hammer's brother Louis Burrell were involved. And with the success of Power, you know, I guess they figured who better to lead the production of an urban crime drama tied to hip hop, and a deal would be secured for the BMF series until well, it wouldn't be secured or whatever until April of 2020. Now, before that happens or whatever, in February of 2019, Cuffy pleads guilty to drug and murder charges. You know what I'm saying? Conspiracy to distribute cocaine, conspiracy to distribute heroin, and use of a firearm in furtherance of a drug organization, resulting in death. You know what I'm saying? So the charges, which subsequently, well, the conviction whatever, subsequently he would be sentenced to, well, after he pled guilty. My bad, y'all. This is fucking 1 o'clock or almost 2 in the morning. I'm tired as hell, but I had to get this out to y'all. Y'all know how this YouTube shit go. But yeah. So so subsequently, like all of this, all of the guilty plea or whatever, he was eventually sentenced to 27 years in May of 2019, according to a press release from the Department of Justice. In an interview with Mob Ties and Chop Talk, Cuffy spoke of 2 case references that he was using as grounds for an appeal. So now the contract is signed to do the BMF series with Stars in April of 2020. 1 month later, Terry Southwest T. Flannery was granted compassionate release during the pandemic, and the BMF series would premiere on September of 2021. Now, the 3rd season ended May 10th, 2024, which pretty much brings us closer to, the present day. 1 month after season 3 ended, Terry Southwest T. Flannery took a picture with Supreme Son, which started whispers about whether or not 50 would pull out of the series due to T taking a picture with the man, with the son of the man who tried to have him killed, as well as being responsible for the death of 2 of his closest friends. So 4 months later, on October 16, 2024, news outlets will report that Big Meech was released from federal prison and into a halfway house to serve out the rest of his 30-year sentence. With both Flannery brothers back in the street, in the free world, fans of the BMF series kind of ran wild with speculations and possibilities about what's, what might be in store for the 4th season. A little over 2 months later, just when you thought things couldn't get any better for the Flannery brothers, former President Joe Biden would grant Southwest T a full pardon. And that brings us to January 25th. That brings us to January of 2025, where Big Meech is featured in the promo video that we were talking about. And, 50's rival, Rick Ross promoting the event. And, the Rumble started again. Now, whether or not 50 will pull out of the series, not sure. You know what I'm saying? What we do know is that there will be a season 4 because they already shot it. In fact, the contract was signed, or renewed for a 4th season before season 3 even started. You know what I'm saying? Like, 50 gave the people what they wanted, the drama. You know what I mean? Pretty much called, Big Meech a rat, hurling the same accusations, you know what I mean, Cuffy is, and posing the question, who is Tammy Cowins, and bringing us to, again, me making this video to break it down for those who might have like come across bits and pieces here and there, but looking for more cohesive chronological what could I say? Coverage. You know what I'm saying? But my personal take on it is why Lou and Cuffy is really trying to put the snitch jacket on Meech is I think Cuffy is just sour about however the business went with the BMF movie, because he seemed to have, like, put some money in it, according to it, and he was trying to make the whole play go through with Hammer's brother and everything. So I think once Tammy was cooperating, and or once all of that stuff came out, it just got weird. And I understand it, because at the end of the day, by this time, he ended up getting locked up or whatever, and like he's doing time in a whole separate situation. So Cuppy feels slighted because he got out of, like, he got cut out the deal. You know what I'm saying? It was supposed to be a movie, and so he had this script written and supposed to do the deal with Lionsgate. They don't do the deal with Lionsgate, but then they end up doing it with a subsidiary of Lionsgate, and he's just out in the cold, like, trying to walk the rest of his 27 years down. With Blue, I feel like it's a combination of both. I think first and foremost, he was hurt over Tammy, because even the way he talked about her, it was almost like he was saying, like, oh, I don't even bring her around the hoopla, all this wild ass shit. That was my old, that was like my older chick, and we was on some chill shit, and I just like call her over when the homies ain't around. Like, the only people she was around with the people that live in the house. So it's like, you cared about the woman. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and apparently a lot of niggas seem to end up caring about a little bit. But yeah, then on top of all of that, so now she cozy up to the boss man. You know what I mean? After you get locked up. So he's saying he cut her off, but she might have just started writing the homies like on her own, and doing her own thing, and cut him off once she got next to, you know, the big, nigga Big Meech. You know what I mean? And then, like, by her kind of taking control over the BMF name and all of this other stuff or whatever, as much as Blue had cried about, you know, or and begged Meech to let him do the BMF Entertainment thing, when they shut that whole thing down. So I think that's what, like, everybody's issue is. They feel like they all got cut out of something, or they all lost something. And so now the only thing that they could do is, they can't stop the business, but they can discredit whoever, is like supporting it. I was just on Clubhouse or whatever, in the depths of the Clout Chaser room, trying to break this down. Whack 100 pulled up in there. But, niggas want to be loud and shit, bro. Like, I ain't finna argue with niggas. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's stuff out here that you can read and Google, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like court documents you can pay to pull up and read this stuff for yourself. The thing is, I did everything in a timeline or whatever, because everybody tells their story and they're jumping around to the years that make them look good. I ain't got no dog in the fight. You know what I mean? So I'm my allegiance is just like getting down to the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? But I know the truth ain't important to somebody, but the truth is important to you or whatever. Shout out to you. You know. But yeah, man, this nasty work. There's an audio they're saying that came out where Tammy Cowins, can't Tammy Cowins, I'm fucked up, y'all. But yeah, Tammy Cowins saying that she's gonna let the truth come out and everything like that. And I think that shit is hilarious because this broad has not, at least in the last 25 years. So let's just say from 2001, where I started it at, to like right now, I don't think that the broad has ever gone a whole year telling like where she told the truth. Like everybody lies, you know what I'm saying? But the biggest liar is the person that tells you they don't lie. But like everybody lied about something, you know what I'm saying? But when you tell lies that destroy lives, my nigga, it's all bad. You know what I mean? But and there's people like that out there, man. You know what Bell what is that shit? Bell, Biv, and DeVoe say? Never trust the big button to smile. You know what I'm saying? Like, but hey, I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you made it this far into the video, appreciate you mobbing with the content. You know what I mean? Hit that like and subscribe button. Help grow the channel. Smash that notification bell if you're really mobbing with the content. If you really mop your material. And always remember that mafia is not a thing. It's a process. Trust the process and remember to stay dangerous so you can be safe. It's your boy DAALIGHT, DAALIGHT TV. I'm out.